Thank you very much. It's the 35th anniversary of Kresta Laurel Limited, 35 years of working in the Nigerian business environment, dealing with international and local challenges. And thank God we are still here 35 years later. So we want to celebrate it. The reasons for celebrating it is that there are a few reasons. One is every major milestone like 35 years continuous operation in an industry that is really used to be the exclusive preserve of the multinationals should be celebrated. It's also an opportunity to also showcase Kesadere Limited as the company of Nigerian engineers that has triumphed in an industry that is used to be seen to be possible for Nigerians to play. So we want to celebrate it. It has actually started. Our first program was an interaction with engineering students from some of our tertiary institutions, University of Lagos, the Lagos State University of Science and Technology, as well as Lagos State University. So we had them, we had an interaction with them, we spoke to them, we spoke to leadership, we spoke to different initiatives, and we introduced them to the engineering industry, and we also introduced them to other, what I would call auxiliary areas that will complement their practice when they come out.
What has been the staying power of Kresta Laurel?
I want to believe that the staying power was the result from the moment the idea of Kresta Laurel was conceived, which was to operate as, in a way that it will be compatible with the best you can get anywhere in the world. So that has always been the vision, to run an engineering company that in its products and services will be compatible, not better than what you can obtain from elsewhere. So with this behind our mind, in the choice of our products, in the choice of our procedures, in the choice of our personnel, in the way they are trained, we are not training them to operate like typical local companies, but like a company that you will come to, you get services, you'll be attended to, and you think you are not in Africa.
Let me also put it differently. What the main focus of Kresta Laurel? So people talk of elevators, talk of lift, and is there any difference there? Are both one and the same, or are they different in terms of?
Okay. Generally, what we do can be divided broadly into two. Okay. There is transportation, humans and goods and all that. And so in transportation, we speak to access, seamless access. If you have an elevator in your building, you will think you are riding an elevator. That's not the value you are getting. The value you are getting is that you're having access to your building. So when you come in, you go into the elevator, you don't care, you just press a button, you find yourself on the 10th or 15th floor. So we are selling access to your building. Okay. Seamless access to your RSB. So that's transportation. We're also selling cranes and hoists, which is basically also transportation. We call it horizontal and vertical transportation. You could move things up, you could move them horizontally, and so on and so forth. The second aspect of our operation is basically power. So in power, we are selling generators, we are selling uninterruptible power supply system, and we have just diversified also into solar renewable energy systems as one of the things we offer. So that's the power sector. So basically, transportation and power, those are the things we are selling. Of access and movement of the goods and services as well as power.
Okay. The two words, elevators and lifts, are they the same or they're two different?
Oh yes, elevators basically is the American word. Lift is the word used by the British. Okay. So if you look at it in the past, it used to be lift. But when the Americans start coming into the system, nomenclature, we are now having more of elevator. So still, the two words can be used interchangeably.
And how easy has it been for the company to continue to dominate that sector, considering the fact that it's not business is not the kind of everyday business that you get selling elevators and all that. It's not something you do on a daily basis. I mean, it comes once in a while. So I'm wondering how easy or challenging it would be for the company to source for business and then continue to dominate that.
Well, I must say it's not easy. But however, the thing is that it's an industry where trust matters. Trust in your capability, trust in your quality, the quality of your products, trust in your services. So what has happened over the years is that when you have demonstrated capability, people look for you. So because it's an industry that is not an all-commerce business, even though quite a lot of people are going in now with disastrous consequences, people still know those who are able to deliver certain category of services. I'll give you an example. Very few companies that are doing elevators in Nigeria can actually install properly an elevator in a 10-story building. We have done 28 story. And it's not even a new installation, it's a replacement of an existing building, in a live building. Very few companies, I'm not sure if there are more than 2 or 3, who have the capacity to do that seamlessly. Very few companies can actually take on major projects. And when I talk of major projects, an installation where you are installing 50 elevators, 60 elevators, very few people. Without being unnecessarily, I can tell you it's probably Kresta because we've delivered those ones seamlessly. As I speak to you, there's a project we are working on. There are 48 escalators. There are 3 contractors on site. As I speak to you, we are the only ones who has done probably about 14 escalators, while the others have not, they didn't even know how to start. So it's a bit of a special. So when you get to that level, it's a premium service in a premium sector, and very few people can do it. So it helps. But definitely, we have income, we have people really what do you say? Because of the nature of projects they are doing, they don't care about the quality of what they are getting. So we don't play in those areas because there is the value that you are getting. And whatever we need to do to make sure you get that value, we put in place.
Do you have specific types of elevators that you sell, or you supply
No,
anyone?
we have a specific type of elevator that we sell. We have had partnership with different companies. Some of our partners have been on for over 30 years. So we have specific elevators that we sell, yes.
Then there was a time I think the company had links with Finland or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. We do have links with Finland. When we started in 1990, we started with a product called Sabian Lift. Sabian Lift is Italian. And along the line, a Finnish company called Koni bought over the Italian. They had a buying spree all over Europe. They bought probably about 20, 30 elevator companies across Europe and all that. So they bought Sabian. And between 1990 and 1999, 3 companies were selling those Koni products in Nigeria. By 1999, the same company decided that they wanted only one distributor, and they then decided to appoint Kresta among the 3 as their sole distributor. And that is how I knew Finland started. But today, we also have other products. We have, what do you call it now? We have a company in Greece called Kliman. Kliman is unique in that Kliman have the capacity to do sizes of elevators in different sectors that most people are not able to do. Elevators are very challenging when they are used in the marine sector, on ship and all that. Very few companies are able to do that. Elevators are also, when they are earthquake compliant, Kliman is one of the very few people that are able to do that. In terms of capacity, Kliman, with being able to do 30 tons, is probably the only company in the world. So those are so there are some ranges that other people are not able to do that. We have Kliman to fill up. So we have Kliman. We also have just started a partnership. Over the years, we have imported wholesale, but we have introduced some engineering into our elevator business. So we're introducing also KL elevators. which is tropicalized. It comes with an air conditioner in the car as standard. It comes with automatic voltage backup, means what we call stabilizer, voltage stabilizers, regulators, sorry, as standard. And it comes with 3-year warranty. That's something we have added some engineering to, and that is being introduced into the country as part of the hallmark of our 35th anniversary.
Let me ask you about your growth within the organization. Tell us how you started off and how you rose to become.
Kresta actually was conceived while His Excellency Dideolu was at HF's shoulder, West African Limited, where I was also there as his assistant market manager when he was deputy managing director. And when the conceptualization of Kresta took place, I was part of the process. And then eventually the company was started operations. And so I was probably the first engineer, apart from His Excellency Dideolu, at Kresta. So I worked with Kresta for about 2 years with him. We did the foundation thing together in terms of growing the company, conceptualizing them. And then I left. I left the company in 1992 to do a few other things out of commitment to one of my mentors who had assured that if he ever needed me, I will come back to support him. So he had a major project, and I just have to leave everything. And I thank God for the understanding of Engineer Daniel. So I went back, and then from there, I did quite a lot of other things. I did a lot of consultancy jobs, power, electrification. I ended up running the first generator assembly plant in Black Africa. And I did all that until when His Excellency then took interest in politics and decided to step down as the managing director of the company. And that was what brought me back to come around the company. So I've been in my, that's how, since 20, I think he went into politics in 2001, 2002. He became the governor in 2003. So there was an acting managing director until when I was anointed, or I was invited, well, not really invited back to come around as the MD. So that, in short, is the story.
So how do you see how do you see the company's performance under this economy, the current economic climate that we have? Do you think it's helped in any way or?
Nigeria's economy is cyclic. Anybody who is doing business in Nigeria will tell you that. Because we are a mono product company, a country, our major source of income is oil. Anytime the price of crude oil goes up, our economy improves. And so our GDP is growing. When it comes down, unfortunately, it also crashes. It's been cyclic. So, and that has affected everybody playing in the industry. The price of crude oil, or when there is disruption in the production, those two factors have been the determinant. So quite unfortunately, there is nobody who's playing genuinely and with integrity that will not suffer those cycles. But having said that, the duty of anybody in his business is to be able to adapt and run your operation in a way that you can be able to understand the nuances within your operating environment and be able to design processes and procedures to be able to survive. If not, and even survive profitably in that environment. Yes, there have been challenges. The challenges in Nigeria are first and foremost the cyclic nature of our business. Second, inconsistent government policies, all sorts of policies come up. Third is our limited human resources in terms of the amount of training they are getting now, especially at artisan and technical level, is quite limited. So the quality of product coming out of technical schools, which is where we get the pool of our staff that actually do the actual installation, is very limited. So all those factors. Then there is also corruption at different levels. So these are the challenges there. There's cost of finance. Today, cost of finance is hovering around 28-30%. So when you do that, well, it means already you have challenges. So there are quite a lot of, so the flexibility is limited, but then you also have to adapt. So it's challenging, but and this is one of the reasons we are celebrating. That despite all these challenges, we are still here, we're working. We always look at it within the house and say that of all of us that were in this business in 1990, realistically, we're about the only one that is still seriously in the business. Three of those companies that were big multinationals are dead, literally dead. The three other companies that were Nigerian owned are either dead or non-performing. So among the seven of us in 1990, Falobi Limited is the only company that has more or less lasted the distance to business. So there's really a lot to celebrate.
You're an engineer. I'm wondering what excites you about your job? What excites you about what you do?
Engineering is development. Engineering is something you can feel. And when you move from a position of zero to a desired position, and you can see it visibly, like you want to build a house, you have a piece of land, it's completely empty, and then you just start work, and then one day this commission, there is a satisfaction you get when you deliver on your duty. So when I install an elevator and it's functioning, and I see people using it, I get satisfied. When I deliver a generator and commission it, and it adds value to whatever building is installed in, it is a satisfaction to each of those developments that it gives. That's really the excitement for me as an engineer. I started my career as a consultant. I used to imagine that I sit down, I conceive an idea, and I develop it in the drawing room or in the design room. And then a few months later, or a few years later, it becomes live. And the satisfaction is, it cannot be explained. So it's like giving back to a child and watching the child grow and becoming an adult. That's what engineering does for me.
There was a time the company went into construction. I don't know whether you're still into construction.
Yes and no. The reality was that we're in construction unofficially before we went to construction. We had quite a lot of our own projects that we were doing directly ourselves. So the only difference was then it was part of our diversification effort. We then tried to go in, but we realized at a point that we were competing with ourselves, with our industry, because the same people that we are offering services to are the ones that also give us a construction offering services to. So there was a bit of conflict. So right now, the commercial aspect of construction, we are not fully involved.
Can you also tell us a bit about your um, story within the organization, how you rose to the rank and all that?
Okay. Well, Kresta Laurel is the